Deeply savory and satisfying, butter chicken is a quintessential curry, allowing your tongue to experience the full flavor burst of warming spices without knocking you over with heat. We pair ours with fragrant, steamed coconut rice. Alright, to get started, we're going to go ahead and prepare all the garlic and ginger that we'll need for our entire recipe today. So that's going to be about 4 cloves of garlic. We'll give those a nice fine mince. And about 2 tablespoons of fresh ginger. As always, use the back of a spoon to get that peel off pretty easily, and then slice it and get a nice fine dice on it. You don't want to bite down on a big piece of raw ginger. Once we've got all that taken care of, we can start making our marinade, which will begin with a half a cup of Greek plain yogurt, followed by some spices. All the exact amounts will be down below for you, but that's some cumin, some garam masala, and by the way, spices do go bad or at least lose their potency, so if your garam masala hasn't been used since like 1999, probably want to replace it. Next up, we're going with some cayenne. That's optional. Put in about half a teaspoon, some turmeric, and a couple tablespoons of olive oil just to help get everything to know each other. Season it, of course, with some salt and fresh cracked pepper. And we'll add in about half of our ginger, so about a tablespoon, and maybe about a tablespoon or so of our garlic. Give everything a stir to combine. And then to this, we're going to add about 1.5 pounds of chicken thighs that we've cut into nice bite-sized pieces. Remove any big pieces of fat or anything that you wouldn't want to eat or serve to anyone. And get those into that marinade and stir it around so that every piece of chicken is nice and thoroughly coated. Your good clean hands would be the best tool here, but I was being stubborn with this spoon. And then we're going to let this marinate for at least 30 minutes. You can let it go up to overnight, but just make sure you put it in the fridge, obviously. While our chicken gets its half-hour marinade, we're going to make some coconut rice. So for that, I am using this nice jasmine rice. I'm going to add a cup of that to a small sauce pot, followed by a cup of coconut milk. And if you've never used coconut milk, you'll see that it has some solid fats in there as well as the liquid, and you want to get a little bit of both of those. That fat gives it a nice creamy flavor once it is cooked. We'll add in another half cup of water to make sure our rice can appropriately steam. Season it up with some salt. As it gets up to temperature, you go ahead and stir that fat into the rice, and once it is boiling, lid it up, drop the heat to low, and give it 18 minutes. Then turn the heat off, let it rest for 10 minutes more to steam out. And finally, grab yourself a fork and fluff that rice up. You can pop the lid back on it, it'll stay warm for quite some time, and that'll give us enough time to cook our chicken. You add a couple tablespoons of olive oil, or ghee would be traditional, that's clarified butter, to a skillet over medium-high heat, and then add in your chicken. We just want to get some color here on both sides. It's not going to get cooked all the way through. By the way, I'm sorry I lost the footage from my second camera angle, so we're going to be looking down from on high for a minute here. As you can see, we've got a really nice golden brown color on the first side of that chicken. I'm just going to give all those pieces a nice flip, and once they're golden brown on the other side, we will get them out. If you need to work in batches here, that's totally fine. As always, we don't want to overcrowd our pan. Next up, once our chicken is done, we're going to add in 1 medium onion that I've finely diced. If you need to add a splash more oil or ghee here, definitely do that. My apologies for the steam. Again, that other camera angle is lost to the sands of time. We'll stir that onion around for about 5 minutes until it's got a nice little char on the outside and it's beginning to soften. And then we'll add in the rest of our ginger and garlic, some more cumin, some more garam masala, a little bit of coriander or ground coriander here adds a nice floral and fruity note. Just a little more turmeric. And then finally, if you want to get your hands on this Kashmiri chili powder, you're probably going to have to hop on Amazon. So I'm putting about a tablespoon of that in there. It's not super spicy. If you don't have that, you could just use an equal part of paprika or maybe a teaspoon of cayenne. We'll stir all those spices around so they wake up in that oil, maybe about 30 seconds worth of time, and then add in a 14.5 ounce can of the best quality crushed tomatoes you can find. Stir that in, and at this point you want to reduce your heat down to medium and return your chicken to the party. We'll go ahead and cook this out for about 5 to 7 minutes until those tomatoes have reduced slightly and the chicken is cooked through. If your tomatoes are reducing too quickly and the pan is starting to get a little dry on you, then just add a splash of water. That is a-okay. I had to do that here. And again, just keep everything stirred every 30 seconds or so nothing burns. Once those tomatoes are a nice dark brick red color like that, it is time to add in 1 cup of full fat heavy whipping cream and carefully stir everything to combine here. Looks like a lot of cream, but we had a lot of spices go in there, and that cream really helps to counteract that and of course make this a super rich and luxurious dish. After a couple of minutes of stirring all that cream in and letting it reduce slightly, you'll taste and adjust for final seasoning. Mine needed a little bit of salt. And at this point, you're pretty much ready to serve. I'm gonna serve mine in a bowl with a nice pile of that lovely, fragrant, just ever so slightly sweet coconut rice. Get a couple generous spoonfuls of our butter chicken. And then for garnishes, I like a few different things here. I like a little bit of fresh lime zest on the rice for a pop of fruitiness and color. And of course, I'll tuck a couple of lime wedges down into the side of the bowl for squeezing on later. And then finally, some nice large leaves of cilantro, or you could finely chop them if you wanted to, but I like the look the nice large leaves give. And that, friends, is one beautiful bowl of butter chicken. As you can see, that rice is perfectly steamed. Every grain is individual. It's not all mushy. Really, really tasty. Great way to cook rice. Adds a little bit of fat to it, but not too much. That chicken is wonderfully charred. You can still see that great golden brown color we got on the outside, but it's lusciously coated in that creamy, tomatoey, and spicy sauce. Let's grab a bite here with everything all together. If you don't make curries at home very often, this is a great one to start with because you can totally cater the heat to your preferences, and it's just really doggone good. So I hope you'll give it a try. Let me know what you think. And as always, go make something delicious.